Yeah, there was some big action. Maplewood versus Pearl Cone. As you take a look at here, some of the big plays that were made in that ball game. That Vaughn family that represents there at Pearl Cone, well, they got one kid, Keyshawn, that's already at Illinois.
ILL.
And you got another one, Kwan Vaughn. Does he have that D1 potential? You see those guys making plays right
I
here.
think he does have that D1 potential. He may not necessarily have that Big Ten potential, but I think he does have the ability to go on and play at that level somewhere. Maybe a Sun Belt-ish, a Conference USA-ish type guy. He's kind of a tweener. He's not quite as thick as Keyshawn, and he might wind up more of a slot guy than a tailback, but I think he can play at that next level.
They don't have any problem bringing the football, that's for sure. Yeah. So, hey, it's now time for us to do our pull-apart peak performances, brought to you by, of course, Pull Apart. They've got 16 locations in the Mid-South, so just check them out at pullapartonline.com, and I'm sure you can find something that you're looking for. You're trying to put together an old school, and guess what? They got all the parts there for you. I use them myself. I'm not even kidding you, I do. So let's start with our peak performers. First off, Tatum Wink from Stewart County. This guy had, did you say 572 yards? Did you tell me this right? 572? How does one dude have 572 yards?
They run smokestack eye, double tight, and they just pound it.
It's like that football lingo, smokestack eye.
You know what? You knew what it was, right?
I'm just messing
you
with
know what it is, right? Three backs.
Go ahead, yeah.
In that
three
formation,
backs, yes.
And they're really tough at the point of attack. Not only did he have 572 yards, which is a single game state record, it broke the old record of 503 set by Huntington's Kennan Holder back in 2008. He had 7 touchdowns, and check this out: 45, 98, 66, 11, 52, 82, and 68. His 7 touchdown runs were for 422 yards.
Was it true that he was winking at everybody when he was running?
Wink?
No, I'm just kidding. That's joke, man. I made that up. Okay, so let's move on to Brandon Hines from Indy. This is the QB. Now, last week we had like 4 running backs. I think 1 quarterback made the peak performers from last week. But we start out at number 2 right now with the quarterback, Brandon Hines from Indy. What kind of a day did he have?
14 of 28, 297 passing yards, 4 touchdowns in a 41-17 win over Stewart's Creek. Oh, by the way, Stewart County beat East Hickman 48-41.
What did I say, Stewart's Creek?
No.
Oh, okay.
We just didn't say who Tatum Wink did it against.
That's right.
So they needed all those touchdowns from Wink in that win. But again, Hines, 297 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Independence beat Stewart's Creek 41-17, big region 5-5A game. Independence is now 6-0 overall, 3-0 in the region, and they've won 21 straight.
The Indy's for real, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Gordonsville's got a boy that can run that football, Braxton Givens. What kind of a day did he have?
37 carries, 188 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's all.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Well, after Mr. Wink.
We can't compare that. That's like something that knew would happen, right?
No, the sophomore led Gordonsville to a 35-21 win over Middle Tennessee Christian in Region 5-4A. And this is the second time in 3 weeks that Gordonsville has beaten a team that came into the game undefeated. They beat previously undefeated Trousdale County 9-0 3 weeks ago. Middle Tennessee Christian came in undefeated as well. So you don't want to see Gordonsville if you're undefeated right now.
You certainly don't do that to the undefeated killers. How about Quintez Pugh? Did I get that right?
I don't know. I hope so. Queontez. Pugh. That Quintez?
Quintez Pugh? Sounds like a Pugh to me.
Mr. Pugh, after his interception with 28 seconds left.
And he's a cornerback, too, by the way.
He is cornerback. Yeah. We're spreading the love
How about
around
that?
a little bit.
Defensive love, too?
Yep. Interception with 28 seconds left to seal Blackman's 27-21 win against Smyrna, at Smyrna. So, big win for the Blaze. Kind of started out struggling a little bit, took a tough loss to McCauley early on, starting to get back in it. The Blaze now 3-3 overall, but they're 3-1 in region play, which is the most important thing.
So, MOP, we were talking about the Division II AA matchup, Brentwood Academy at NBA. Cameron Johnson last week had a really big day. I would figured he'd have to have one this weekend against Ty Chandler's NBA program,
I'm
too, right?
sure that Cody White and the Eagles won't mind if Cameron Johnson has a big night Friday night, but he had a big play in that Ensworth game. Ensworth led that game 14-7 at the half. Johnson gets through, blocks a punt, picks it up, returns it 9 yards, puts Brentwood Academy up 21-14 in the third quarter. One of 3 touchdowns they scored coming out of the locker room, and BA won that game 35-21. So big play at a big time, and it put them up, and they went on and won it from there.
Now, this is putting you on the spot. Who would you say Brentwood Academy's most dreaded rival is? Who would that be? Would that be an MBA? Would that be a Baylor? Would that be someone in the division of McCauley?
It would be either MBA or Ensworth, and I guess it depends on how all 3 of them are doing in any particular year. But none of those 3 likes to lose to either of the others.
Yeah,
You
man.
know that.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
You've been around the program for like 1,000 years.
Hey, you're the one that had a kid at Ensworth. Who is Ensworth's most hated rival?
That's why I'm asking. I really don't know. I mean, we've only had 4 years there. This might go deeper than that. You know, I probably have to ask my daughter when I get home which one they hate losing to the most, or like beating the best.
There you go.
know, that's one of the two ways that you can look at it. Okay, so that was our peak performers brought to you by, of course, Pull Apart. So check them out at pullapartonline.com. Now let's move on to obviously our classes and our rankings, and we'll start with the Class 6A division here in just a second because I mean it doesn't seem to move every single week, and I say this every single week because until someone actually thumps Maryville upside the head at the Class A division, they're going to be atop of it with Oakland coming in at number 2. Do you ever see a situation where the roles can be reversed? Like say Oakland actually at the top, since they've got a guy in Jacoby Stevens that might be a defensive player of the year nationally, maybe they will move up to that 6A spot. You ever see Maryville letting go of it?
As long as Maryville keeps winning, they're going to be number 1.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I think everybody else in the States has kind of recognized that.
Yeah. So we talked about Wilson. Matter of fact, here we got a really big battle. Wilson Central is at Franklin, number 7 versus number 6. Somebody's got to go down. I don't think either one of these two teams will fall out of the top 10 if they were to lose to one another just because of where they are sitting right now. But that's going to be a close ball game.
And I'll tell you what, if you look, you've got 6, 7, and 8. You got Franklin, Wilson Central, and Mount Juliet all coming out of that region 3, 6A there.
Right.
And what's odd about the order is that Mount Juliet beat Wilson Central a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. How about Blackman and Smyrna? We just saw Blackman just beat the brakes off of Smyrna.
Yeah.
And that was a divisional matchup right there, a ranking matchup last week. How about 5A? Independence. We just talked about Brandon Hines, the quarterback there, threw 297 yards and 4 touchdowns. They're sitting atop that division, sitting pretty right now.
They really are. Like I said, they've won 21 straight now. They're 6-0 this year, coming off the state championship. And again, I'm not sure that people expected them to be back in this spot this time around. I didn't, but they're proving a lot of us wrong, obviously.
Hey, is Cane Ridge a perennial top 3 program in Class 5A?
Yeah, they haven't been. I think they're kind of establishing themselves there right now. I think the key is, regardless of what happens this year, is how they come back, because they've got a nice mix of seniors and underclassmen. So if those underclassmen are watching and learning and that kind of thing, and they're ready to step into some key roles next year when you lose like a DJ Thorpe or Jordan Bell, some of the guys that they're going to lose off this team. But I think Eddie Woods is doing a really good job of creating a culture out there at Cane Ridge, a winning culture.
Good to see one of those local teams like Centennial sitting in the top 5, right? Number 4.
It really is. You know, when you consider what they lost from last year, including Tyrell Dodson, who is playing and getting a lot of burn at Texas A&M. Got a big game this week against UT.
Yeah.
But when you consider what they lost from last year, the fact that they are back in this spot again, and we talked to Matt Kreisky's brother, Will, over at Riverdale a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
But what Matt is doing over there at Centennial is really admirable, I think, in light of the personnel losses that they had and the coaching change.
Nice. So we always got to mention our boy Steve Matthews, former Tennessee Titan, sitting atop the Class 4A.
Tullahoma native.
Tullahoma. Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice. I have no idea where that's at, but either way.
It's between here and Chattanooga.
That's
You've
right.
seen it on I-24.
Yeah, I'm driving too fast. I don't ever notice the landmarks.
You said it, not me.
How about Tony Burnetti's boys coming in at number 3 in the Class 4A rankings? That's actually a pretty good spot for them. Do you agree with that?
You know, coming off the big win against Maplewood, I think that really kind of further cemented them in that spot. I think they were 4. No, they were 3 last week. So they're sitting in a pretty good spot. Again, they're behind 2 teams that they wouldn't see until the state finals. So yeah, they're in a pretty good spot, and it'll be interesting to see if they can stay there and live up to that once we get into the postseason.
So I guess when you get blasted 52-7, if you're losing to a team that's in the top 5, then you don't get booted out of the top 10, right?
Right.
Maplewood's still in there, so
Yeah, they're still
hope
in
for
there.
them.
Still a pretty good ball club,
Absolutely.
too.
So how about Class 3A? And atop that Class 3A division, obviously, class is the Alcoa
Tornadoes.
The Tornadoes. Yeah, how's it go again?
Sounded like a train.
That's good. Hey, our Stratford buddies are coming in at number 5, Maurice Fitzgerald's guys. That shows you the hard work that they put into the program. 7-0 right now, 8-4 last year. He has them sitting pretty in the Class 3A at number 5, right smack dab in the middle.
Absolutely. They're playing really well, and I think they've got a chance to go 10-0.
I know that's right. How about Forest? We were just talking about Watertown at Forest, which Forest got that big victory. They're sitting right there at number 3 in Class 2A, and Watertown is number 7 7 right now, respectively. So.
And I wouldn't be surprised if neither of them loses again in the regular season.
Really?
They're both really good ball clubs. I mean, Forest won that game. Watertown could have won it. I think Forest just kind of bowed their neck at a key time in the contest. But, you know, two great ball clubs. I think if they played 10 times, it might be 6-4, 7-3. Forest might get them. But, you know, it wasn't necessarily a surprise, but it's a very competitive ball game.
No, that's right. Well, Dresden's sitting atop the Class 1A, but there's Columbia Academy poking in at number 6 at Nashville Christian School. Our friend down there,
Jeff Brothers.
Jeff Brothers. I like him.
Coach Bro Show.
We need to get Bro Show on the show.
Yep.
We need to stop on down there in West Nashville and get a conversation
Slip
with him.
out there.
Yeah, you know, he likes us. Maybe he can give us a bologna sandwich or something. I don't know. But they're at number 8. How about Division II AA? We talked about some matchups. Brentwood Academy at MBA. It's going to be a barn burner. Brentwood Academy number 1. MBA is number 3. It's a battle to the finish. Dogs and cats, they don't like each other. Neither do Brentwood Academy and MBA.
And again, when you talk about D2, you realize that whatever happens in the regular season, it's probably just Act 1. Just like last year when Brentwood Academy beat them 48-14 in the regular season, and then they played again in the finals, and it's 56-55. So whatever happens Friday night, there's a chance that those two will square off yet again before the year's over with.
Yeah. Hey, so I got something in my eye, Mo. It says Endworth is number 10. Is that right?
That is right.
Okay.
That is right.
I'm nearsighted, you know. I thought the ones might have blended in with the...
No, you're right. Ensworth is at number 10, and they've got a big matchup Friday night when number 6 Macaulay comes to town. Macaulay coming off a big 42-7 win against their hated rival, Baylor. So, and Baylor beat Ensworth 17-7 earlier in the year. So this is an interesting matchup if you're not going to that Brentwood Academy MBA game.
Hey, so check this out. We're going to catch up with former baseball big leaguer Michael Coleman from Stratford High School, actually a multi-sport guy. I mean, this guy's got a great message, and he's also got a baseball academy, M3 training, baseball training academy, just off of Harding Pike. So you're going to want us to check this out, especially if you've got a youngster that's playing baseball. So stick around. More from the Zaner Insurance Countdown to Friday, more particularly Michael Coleman when we come back.